gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Dupuis, and we're starting with the Quebec Liberal Party's new candidate, criminal lawyer Nada Baumefta, in Maurice Richard. Roadwork and a minor collision are causing delays across the island, though transit runs on schedule. And the 19th Montreal World Press Photo Exhibition has opened at Bonseckers Market. Over to you, Ryan.
Nick Suzuki moved up one spot, now 9th on NHL Network's ranking of top centermen, previously 10th last year.
Former Canadiens forward Yvonne Lambert is recovering at Lakeshore General Hospital after fractures from a fall.
Hayden Popenki says he is looking forward to testing himself against older, more experienced players as he heads into the NCAA.
All right, let's get into it. Here's what's happening across Montreal this morning and the stories you need to start your day. Here are our top stories. The Quebec Liberal Party has named criminal lawyer Nada Baumefta as its candidate for the Maurice Richard riding as it finalizes its slate for the upcoming provincial election. Marion Catay has the full story.
The Quebec Liberal Party confirmed that criminal lawyer Nada Baumefta will be its candidate in the Maurice Richard riding as it finalizes its slate for the upcoming provincial election. Party officials said Baumefta, known for her work in criminal defense, was selected after an internal vetting process. The announcement comes as the Liberals race to recruit high-profile candidates across Montreal and the wider province. Party leaders emphasized that her legal background and community ties align with the party's push to regain seats in traditionally competitive districts. Baumefta is expected to begin campaigning in the weeks ahead, focusing on local issues and the party's platform on health, education, and public safety as well as. Marion Catay, GMNA News, Maurice Richard.
College La Salle announced today that it carries roughly $48 million in debt to the Quebec government and is urging provincial officials to devise a relief plan. The post-secondary institution, based in the island's western sector, has faced a prolonged fiscal squeeze, prompting administrators to formally request assistance from the provincial cabinet. Officials have not yet detailed the specific measures under consideration, but the college's appeal underscores the magnitude of the shortfall and its potential impact on programs and staff. Quebec's Education Ministry confirmed the figure and said it is reviewing the request, while noting that any support will need to align with provincial funding rules. Stakeholders anticipate further dialogue in the coming weeks as the institution works to stabilize its finances and maintain services for its student body. The situation remains under close observation by both educators and policymakers.
Yesterday, the federal government and the province of Quebec issued a firm warning to Glencore over operations at the Horn Smelter in Rouen-Noranda. Both governments told the mining giant that the National Critical Minerals Strategy cannot be invoked to sidestep environmental responsibilities to the town's residents. The warning follows long-standing criticism of the smelter's impact on air and water quality. Glencore's chief executive was urged to meet existing remediation standards and to engage with local communities without seeking exemptions. Officials emphasized that the strategy is designed to support sustainable development, not to override health and safety obligations. The message signals a tighter regulatory stance as Canada seeks to balance mineral production with environmental protection. The Horn facility, which refines copper and zinc, has been the focus of community complaints for years, and authorities said compliance will be closely monitored in the coming months.
The 19th edition of the Montreal World Press Photo Exhibition opened at Bonseckers Market, showcasing award-winning press photos. It runs through the week of August 24 to 28. Denise Lariviere has the full story.
The doors of Bonseckers Market swing open this week, ushering in the 19th Montreal World Press Photo Exhibition. Inside the historic stone arches, hundreds of award-winning images line the walls, each capturing a moment from conflicts, climate change, and everyday life across the globe. Visitors wander past striking black and white portraits and vivid color spreads, while the market's vaulted ceilings echo with murmurs of curiosity. Curator Matthew Ritz walks the galleries, pointing out the stories behind the frames and reminding guests that the show rotates annually, bringing fresh perspectives each year. The exhibition runs through the week of August 24 to 28, 2026, inviting the city to reflect on the power of visual journalism. Denis Lariviere, GMNA News, Bonseckers.
Yesterday, the Parti Québécois announced that Stéphane Paquet, the chief executive of Montreal International, will be its candidate in the Pointe-aux-Trembles riding. Party officials said the move is meant to strengthen their economic portfolio ahead of the municipal elections that loom later this year. Paquet, known for leading the city's global trade and investment agency, joins a slate of fresh faces the PQ hopes will broaden its appeal in the East End borough. The selection was made public at a press conference in the riding, where Paquet pledged to focus on job creation and sustainable growth for local families. Party leaders highlighted his experience in attracting foreign investment as a key asset for the campaign. Voters in Pointe-aux-Trembles will now have a business-savvy option on the ballot as the city prepares for the upcoming vote. A teen was rushed to hospital after a moped crash in Les Cedars, and Quebec is weighing tariff strategies. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Yesterday, a 15-year-old boy was rushed to hospital with serious injuries after his moped slammed into a vehicle in the Les Cedars area of the island. Sûreté du Québec officers responded to the early morning crash and confirmed the teen was taken to a regional medical center for treatment. The collision occurred on a residential street near the main thoroughfare, and investigators say both drivers remained at the scene. Police are now appealing for anyone who saw the incident to come forward, emphasizing the importance of eyewitness accounts for reconstructing the events. The teen's condition remains critical, and authorities have not released further details pending family notification. No arrests have been announced, and traffic in the vicinity was temporarily rerouted while crews cleared the wreckage. Les Cedars, a suburban community on the island's western edge, saw emergency vehicles line the street as paramedics worked through the hour.
Quebec Minister Christine Fréchette urged a strategic tariff retaliation against the United States, rejecting Ottawa's dollar-for-dollar plan, as the federal government announced its own response on August 23. Marion Catay has the full story.
Minister Christine Fréchette stepped out in Quebec today, warning that the province will not simply mirror Ottawa's dollar-for-dollar tariff response to recent U.S. trade measures. She urged the federal government to adopt a more strategic retaliation, one that considers Quebec's own economic interests rather than a blanket tit for tat. Fréchette said the province's industries could be hurt by an indiscriminate approach and called for coordination that targets specific sectors. Her remarks came as Ottawa announced it would impose equal value duties on American goods in direct response to the latest U.S. actions. The minister stressed that Quebec's stance may diverge from the federal plan, seeking a calibrated solution instead. She delivered the comments on a sunny afternoon outside the provincial legislature. Marion Cote, GMNA News, Quebec.
Yesterday morning, the government of Quebec announced it will revive the financial support framework used during the COVID-19 pandemic to aid provincial businesses. Officials said the measure is intended to bolster firms still feeling the strain of the health crisis that began 6 years ago. The plan mirrors the pandemic-era programs that provided cash grants, loan guarantees, and wage subsidies to keep operations afloat. By reactivating those tools, the province hopes to accelerate recovery and prevent further closures across sectors. The announcement came as industry groups warned that lingering supply chain disruptions and rising costs continue to challenge profitability. Quebec's finance ministry said details on eligibility and application timelines will be released in the coming weeks. The move reflects a broader provincial strategy to use proven emergency mechanisms as a catalyst for long-term economic resilience.
Yesterday, a study released by the Fédération des Chambres de Commerce du Québec, FCEI, revealed that the province's smallest enterprises are shouldering a tax burden up to 5 times greater than that of larger firms. The analysis, based on recent fiscal data, shows that Quebec's tax structure disproportionately targets businesses with fewer than 20 employees, inflating their effective rates far beyond the provincial average. Researchers noted that while larger companies benefit from broader deductions and lower marginal rates, the smallest operators face steep levies on revenue and payroll. The findings arrive as the provincial government debates reforms to the commercial tax code, with officials promising a review of the disparities. Industry groups have called for immediate adjustments, warning that the current imbalance could hinder entrepreneurship and job creation across the region.
Authorities responded to a violent brawl in Montreal Saturday night, finding a man with severe upper body injuries who remains in critical condition. Emergency crews are on scene. Marion Cote has the full story.
A man is fighting for his life after emergency crews arrived at a violent street altercation Saturday night and found him with serious injuries to his chest and both arms. Paramedics reported extensive bruising, broken ribs, and deep lacerations, noting that the victim was unresponsive to initial treatment and was rushed to a nearby trauma center for emergency surgery. Police said the brawl escalated quickly, leaving the man in a critical state while several others fled the scene. Investigators are now canvassing the neighborhood for witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage to piece together what sparked the confrontation. The community has been urged to stay clear of the area while authorities continue their inquiry. Marion Cote, GMNA News, Montreal.
Now let's check the morning forecast and see what today's skies have in store.
A southerly jet stream and rising pressure will keep the morning clear before late-day clouds drift in. On this date, Montreal's thermometer once climbed to 33 degrees in 2021, a brief spike during an early-season heat wave that broke the long-standing summer record. The coldest reading fell to 10.3 degrees in 2013, recorded during an unusually early Arctic blast that shoved frigid air deep into the province. By contrast, today's climate normals hover around 22 degrees high and 15 degrees low, illustrating how today's expected 24-degree maximum sits comfortably below the historic peak, yet well above the average. On the live radar, the western band of light rain is marching eastward across the Laurentians, guided by the southerly jet at 114 kilometers per hour. It will brush the island around 4 p.m., peak shortly after, then exit the St. Lawrence corridor by 6 p.m. The rest of the map remains dry, confirming the stable air mass moving in. At 7, Montreal sits under a clear sky with 16 degrees and a relative humidity near 83%. Pressure is near average and nudging upward, sealing in drier, more stable air that the southerly jet at 114 kilometers per hour is reinforcing. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching 24 degrees by mid-afternoon, while the wind picks up to 27 kilometers per hour from the south, feeling brisk across exposed surfaces. The UV index sits at 5, a moderate level for the day. No precipitation is forecast, and there are no active weather alerts. As the sun sets around 7:49 p.m., clouds will thicken, bringing a mostly cloudy finish to the evening. The 5-day outlook begins Monday with a high of 21 and a low of 15 under a blanket of overcast skies, the lingering moisture from the weekend's jet stream keeping sunshine at bay. Tuesday repeats the overcast pattern, still capped at 21, while the low nudges to 16 as the pressure remains steady. Wednesday clears dramatically, high 25 and low 17 under a ridge that pushes the jet north, delivering a bright, dry day. Thursday brings the first rain chance, with the jet dipping southward and a low-pressure trough arriving, producing 50% rain probability, a high of 27 and a low of 19. Friday returns to clear conditions, high 24, low 16, as the ridge re-establishes and winds relax. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic snarls slow commuters, candlelight tribute to Adele and Michael Jackson shines tonight, and Suzuki climbs the Centerman rankings. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Morning commuters, a major blockage is snarling traffic through the Viger Tunnel between Rue Panet and Exit 5. Lanes are reduced to a single carriageway, and travel times are adding up to 20 minutes. A second major hindrance sits in the Ville-Marie Tunnel between Boulevards Robert Bourassa and St. Laurent, where construction has shut one side of the tunnel, pushing delays to 15 minutes. On Autoroute Ville-Marie Exit 5, a minor road hindrance remains, but traffic is still moving at a reasonable pace. Drivers heading downtown can consider using Rue St. Laurent or the Descaries Expressway as alternatives. All other major arteries, including the Champlain Bridge and the Trans-Canada, are clear at this hour. Transit is running on schedule with no reported delays. Expect the afternoon rush to stay heavy around the tunnels, so plan extra time if you're heading through the downtown core.
First up, Montreal's Cabaret du Casino hosts Michael Jackson, Legacy, a high-energy tribute concert celebrating the king of pop's timeless hits. It's tonight, and fans of iconic choreography and unforgettable melodies won't want to miss it. Also tonight, Theatre Rialto presents Candlelight, tribute to Adele, a 60-minute candlelit show that brings her soulful ballads to life for all ages. If you're looking for a vibe right now, head to Parc Jean Drapeau, where Picnic Electronic is in full swing, a weekly outdoor party with local and international DJs, food trucks, and a family-friendly atmosphere. Looking ahead, MUTEK kicks off tomorrow at Place des Arts and the surrounding Quartier des Spectacles, offering over 80 electronic music and digital arts performances that will shape the city's cultural pulse all week. It's the perfect chance to discover fresh talent and immersive visuals. Stay tuned and enjoy the sounds of Montreal. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Habs news on three fronts as training camp creeps closer. Nick Suzuki is climbing the league's center rankings. NHL Network slots him 9th among all centermen, up from 10th a year ago. That one-spot jump reflects a league that's taking his two-way game more seriously. With camp around the corner, Suzuki enters this season with real recognition to back up his captaincy. A Canadiens legend needs some good wishes. Yvonne Lambert is recovering at Lakeshore General Hospital after sustaining fractures in a fall. Staff there describe him as a popular patient, no surprise for a man who helped deliver Stanley Cups to this city, wishing him a full and steady recovery. Hayden Popinki's heads into the NCAA ready for a fight. The Canadiens prospect says he's genuinely embracing the step up in competition, older, more physical players every night. That mindset matters. Prospects who seek the challenge rather than survive it are the ones who stick. Montreal's pipeline is watching closely. Plenty of storylines to track as the hockey calendar starts heating up.
Thanks, Tyler. Good Food, the Montreal-based meal kit company headquartered in downtown Montreal, is at a crossroads. After a rapid leadership change, its chief executive stepped down after less than 6 months. The business sought creditor protection to restructure its finances. That move signals a major shift for a brand that has been a kitchen staple across Quebec, delivering fresh, pre-portioned ingredients to families looking for convenient, home-cooked meals. The restructuring aims to streamline operations and preserve the jobs that keep the local supply chain humming. For Montrealers, Good Food isn't just a service. It's the weekly ritual that turns a busy weekday into a shared dinner around the table. Its future will shape how we feed our neighborhoods. We'll hear how a Quebec town is pioneering a dementia-friendly initiative and the reaction to new U.S. 50% tariffs. Stay tuned.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. A small Quebec town is rolling out a dementia-friendly initiative, training merchants, municipal staff and emergency responders to better support residents living with dementia. Denise Lariviere has the full story.
Local merchants, city staff, and first responders gathered this morning for a town-wide training session aimed at making everyday interactions more dementia-friendly. Over the course of the day, participants learned how simple changes like clear signage, patient communication techniques, and adjusted service protocols can help residents living with dementia navigate shops, offices, and emergency calls with greater confidence. The program, funded by the municipality, rolls out to all businesses and public services over the coming weeks, giving staff practical tools to recognize symptoms and respond respectfully. Officials say the effort comes as dementia rates climb across Canada, affecting thousands of seniors and prompting communities to create more supportive environments. Denise Lariviere, GMNA News, Montreal.
The United States announced a 50% tariff on Canadian exports, prompting Quebec's 5 major party leaders to convene and voice differing responses. Philippe Nadeau has the full story.
The United States unveiled a 50% duty on Canadian goods today, targeting a broad range of exports from agricultural products to manufactured items. In Quebec, the leaders of the province's 5 major parties gathered at a joint press briefing, each voicing alarm but offering divergent paths forward. The liberal-leaning faction urged immediate diplomatic talks, while the sovereigntist camp warned of economic strain on francophone communities. A centrist group called for a coordinated provincial response, and the more conservative voices hinted at legal challenges through trade tribunals. Across the table, the consensus was clear. The new tariff will reshape cross-border trade, even as the parties clash over how to counter it. The announcement arrives just days before scheduled bilateral trade talks between Ottawa and Washington. Philippe Nadeau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunrise. Tonight's glimpse of the 19th World Press Photo Exhibition at Bonseckers Market reminded us of the city's vibrant spirit. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and see you then.